Yeah, we put that out a little bit. We've been going on, dealing with that for the last couple weeks. Trying to work through some load management issues and seeing if that would work and help, the healing process. Obviously, if you followed his career, he had surgery in high school, and then got to campus, late July, and has had some issues, in the recovery and the rehab process, and just never could get to 100%. And so, the more research we did and the more doctors and specialists we talked to, just felt like this for the long term and health and well-being, and to give Xavier the best opportunity going forward. We just thought, and his family thought this was the best thing, is to have surgery. And he is scheduled. I'm not exactly sure of the date, but hopefully by the end of this week, to have that, and then we'll go forward. And so I think he's handled everything. Him and his family have handled everything terrific. But we got to get him healthy, really for him and his future, long term. And from all the research, like I said, and the people we talked to, we think this surgery can help get him there.
What is the imperative? I mean, when you talk about a 7-footer and feet, obviously the history there is a little scary. Just to your point, to think long term and get it corrected as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. And, we met with Xavier the last couple of weeks, talked to his family. I'm always going to be in support of what's best for these kids. And like I talked about, I said, man, you got to have long-term vision, not short-term vision. So what's the best for you, Xavier Foster, long-term? And the best thing for him long-term is to get 100% healthy. And the best way to do that is with the specialists that he's dealing with and that our doctors and trainers are dealing with, that they can get him back where he needs to be, once he comes back. The great thing about having the surgery now is he can rehab through the spring, and then he can be healthy to have a really, really good summer and grow in the areas basketball and strength-wise he needs to be able to take the next step. Because if you've seen a little bit that he's played, obviously he's got, some high-level skill that can translate in a lot of ways. He's just got to get healthy. And so, he'll do that, and hopefully surgery and everything is a great success this week, and then we'll go forward. But I think everybody that was involved in the process thought this was the best thing for him.
To switch gears, you mentioned after the game on Saturday about how you had talked to the guys about teams that had overcome slow starts to conference play, and I was just wondering what the message that you have for them has been about, why they might be able to be a team that can do that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. When you look at, there's a lot of examples you could use. I mean, somebody told me the last team, Iowa State team, started 0-5, went to the NCAA tournament. I could be wrong, but somebody gave that to me Saturday night. Oklahoma State's a good example. Georgia, when I was in college, is a great example. I think the biggest thing, there are no guarantees, but the guys were already in the gym. That we practiced today at 1. They had weights this morning at 10, but we had probably half the group in there at 8:30, 8 o'clock, in the gym, getting workouts. They watched tape and lifted at 10. And so, we just got to stay at it. Offensively, I thought we came out the other night really good. We had 20 points at the 10-minute mark against one of the top defensive teams in the league. Our problem there is just being able to sustain our offensive execution and pace, for 40 minutes. What really killed us is out of the first 20 we gave up, they only scored 1 basket in half court. Everything was offensive rebounds or transition. Our defensive focus and identity and intensity wasn't there pretty much all night. And so, that thing, we've done that the last couple of weeks. That's what was so disappointing and embarrassing about that game, is we had made strides in that area with the West Virginia, Baylor, Texas. Even though those are losses, we competed the right way. And so we just got to take it a day at a time. Can't worry about anything else. We got to get ready today and tomorrow for K-State, and then go play well in Manhattan. It's a place we've played well at, over the years that I've been here. And so I'm excited about just getting these guys ready. Meet with our, leaders and captains this afternoon when I get back to the office, and then we'll go forward from there.
Thank you.
Our next question will be from Randy Peterson of the Des Moines Register. Go ahead, Randy.
Steve,
Did you suspect that something like this might have to happen with Xavier? Did you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think this was. I think we were trying. Obviously, I don't. You probably don't want surgery unless you have to have it. That's me speaking from a standpoint of, can you rehab it? Can you get it healthy other ways? And I think so. We tried that, but the more you saw him practice, the more you saw him work out, he just knew that he wasn't going to be able to be 100% and be comfortable, in himself, without getting himself completely healthy. And so, I think we, probably saw it coming for a little bit, but we were really trying to see if the load management and the rehab would be able to get him where it needed to be. And unfortunately, that didn't work. And so this is what, is the best for him. And, we've got really, really a good, good vision on where he goes once he gets his surgery done. And so I think this will definitely, no question, help him. And as he continues to grow and get better, he's got to get healthy. And this is the best thing for him.
What's this mean for George now? I mean, I know George hasn't been playing a ton, and neither Xavier lately. But what's George got to do going forward to show you that he needs that he can handle more than whatever it is, 9 minutes that he's averaging now?
Motor, play with an unbelievable motor. Protect the basket, not just blocking shots, but walling up and rebounding, putting pressure on the rim by his pace and transition, and being able to be a presence around the basket and somebody we feel comfortable throwing the ball inside to, because we need to go inside out at times if we can't, if we're not getting transition opportunities. I think it's important for us to get paint touches, and I think this team's one of their best ways to do it is through post feeds. And so he's got to be a presence around the basket for us. He knows all that. Got to play with an unbelievable motor, got to play with high level energy, and got to rebound, defend, and then be an offensive force. And that means, rim running, that means rolling on ball screens, that means being able to play in ball screens and get action. And then that means being able to finish around the basket. Too many missed opportunities around the basket.
Steve, you thought you'd have Henson, you thought you'd have Foster, both contributing somewhat significantly, and maybe that's me saying with Foster contributing significantly, but nonetheless, you don't have either one of them now. What's going through your mind? Are you snake bit in that respect this year, or how do you handle that?
My only thing going through my mind is how do we get these guys better the next 2 days to beat K-State? I always said it. Chuck Pagano said it a long time. You live in vision, not in circumstance. And so, man, I hate it for Blake. Obviously he's a good player. Hate it for Xavier. We got to get better. We got to be tougher. We got to have a tougher mindset on the defensive end, and we got to play with a great pace on offense. You look at our last two halves, first 10 minutes, Texas, 20 points in 10 minutes. Texas Tech, 20 points in 10 minutes. Those are the elite defensive teams in our league and in the country. Okay, we have to sustain effort for longer periods of time, whether that means I have to sub more to get guys more rest. But when we come out and execute game plan, we've gotten off to, like I said, to good starts, being efficient offensively. Defensively, we struggled, against Texas Tech. And so my only mindset is, man, how do we get these guys better these 2 days? How do we keep them focused on understanding that this is a long journey and you're going to get hit in the mouth? How do you respond? And then how do we beat Kansas State? Like I said, we've played well in Manhattan. I think we've won, multiple times over the last couple of years, and we had to go over there in tough moments, when our program or that team's season was in some tough moments, and we won over there and always played well. And so that's what we expect. That's what this thing's about. And so that's my only mindset is how do we get this team better? The 10 guys we got, the 4 horsemen, our four walk-ons, how do we get these guys better, focused, and ready to compete it the right way?
Thanks, Steve.
Yep.
Next question comes from Michael Swain of 247 Sports. Go ahead, Michael.
Hey, Coach. When you look back at the first Kansas State game, what were some of the things that you guys didn't do that this time around you're really preaching to the guys that you guys need to really do well?
Well, I think number one, just the defensive end of the floor, transition defense, ball screen defense. And then, they do a lot of stuff off, flex cuts, pin downs. You know what I mean? How do we want to guard those? I mean, that's what we'll spend a lot of time on the next 2 days. We got to do a better job of guarding them in the half court and then finishing plays so we can push in transition. And then offensively, we got to know our reads about what Kansas State defense gives you because of how they shift and how they guard ball screens, what our reads are going to be. And then we got to execute that. They came out. They had a lot more energy and purpose, December 15th against us. And we weren't ready. We got hit in the mouth right away, and it kind of stayed that. Really, I mean, I think we got it to 9 or whatever, maybe 7. I think watching the game last night, but maybe it was 5, 7, 9. We made a push late, but we never did what we needed to do on the defensive end, and so that's where it needs to start, and that's what we'll focus on these 2 days.
And you mentioned the defensive end there. I guess how much would Trey help with that? I know you guys didn't have him last time, and now you've kind of got him back in the rhythm of things.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he can help. I mean, we all got to be better from where we were Saturday, but I think Trey's a guy that always, going to play hard, play with good energy, and play with good purpose. So, hopefully he can do a good job from that standpoint, communicating switches, keeping the ball out of the paint. We got to be more aggressive, in the half court against them.
Thank you.
We will go back to Travis Hines of the Ames Tribune. Go ahead, Travis.
Just curious what logistically the next week or so is going to look like for you guys. Are you going straight to Kansas after the game on Wednesday, and then just what challenges that might present?
Yeah, we'll bust to Manhattan, so we'll just stay gone because of the turnaround and stay gone, and then play KU. And I think it went out today. We played Kansas at 1:00 on Saturday, so we'll be over there Thursday and then Friday and then play Saturday. And so it's just easier and smarter, economically and for a lot of reasons, when you look at the landscape that we're dealing with through the pandemic. And so we'll head out tomorrow and then play Wednesday night, and then we've got, then head to Lawrence from there.
You guys normally bust to Manhattan, or are you doing that just because of the schedule?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple reasons, I think, when you look at the landscape of what everybody's dealing with this year. But no, usually we fly. But I think when you look at the conference, how they made the schedule, I'm sure there's a reason they put us with K-State and Kansas in the same week, so we could cover that trip as one, and so it just helps in a lot of areas.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And that's all we have for you, Coach. Thanks for your time today.
Thanks, guys.